there's like a Bollywood song which goes like bar bar ha, intezar ha, right? And for some reason, your name has enough vowels to be a Hindi phrase,
Sure.
right? So I knew it was coming here. So for 72 hours, I've just been walking around going, Mike Birbiglia, Mike Birbiglia. Like, I've done that 50 times for no reason over the last 3 days.
Mike Birbiglia.
Mike Birbiglia. That's your new... That's going to be every Indian comment.
You got to send me that song.
I will send you that song.
I'll play that on guitar. Mike Birbiglia, Mike Birbiglia. In your special, you show like a split second of a camera down your esophagus, I think, and because you lost your voice.
More than lost my voice, I had cysts. You know what I mean? So, yes, that was a trip.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so you lost your voice, you had cysts. And so they took them out?
No. So we're doing this special and we sell out the venue 6 weeks before we film. And that morning I woke up with cysts.
Wow.
And
So you went to an ENT doctor?
I was in London and I get taken to the guy.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're a big star. You get the guy.
Right. And the guy's like, all right, 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
6 months, like vocal rest, 6 months?
No, but 6 months till you have a quality voice again.
Wow.
And then I got taken to Adele's speech therapist. And she was like, I'll get you back on stage in 7 weeks.
And now you sound like Adele.
Now I sound like Adele.
I was wondering why you sound like Adele.
There you go.
No, I had almost identical. I recognized that exam that you had where they stick the thing down your throat because I think it's hard being someone who speaks for a living. You don't think of yourself as a vocalist and then you go, no, you are a vocalist, just a different type of vocalist.
The amount of notes I got for that stupid thing, I wanted to put that up. And then we just got like 5 emails saying, it doesn't look like a throat.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Like, is this a picture of your asshole? What are we looking at over here? So we had to add the correct amount of blur so that it looked...
Oh.
So it wouldn't trigger anyone.
Right.
And,
And of course, throats and assholes, they're of the same...
Of the same, yeah.
They're of the same DNA.
It's the same tube, right? Depending on what time you show up at the doctor.
Yeah. It's not... People are being nitpicky, but in fact, same creator.
Yeah, there you go.
If you believe in that kind of thing. Man, you've made a great special and came out with a great book.
Thank you.
It's funny, like, when you write a book, I feel like you're combing over parts of your life where you go like, oh, when I did it, I forgot that even happened.
Yeah.
Did you have anything with that where you were kind of shocked by your own memory of something?
For sure. Firstly, I'm not writing a book again for a damn long time.
Yeah.
Like, nobody tells you writing a book is writing it 7 times.
Yes. Yes.
It really is a lot.
What do you mean by that? But what do you mean by writing it 7 times?
Well, I did the first draft and then there was notes and then I changed. I threw out 4 chapters in my book and said, none of this belongs in here. And then redid it completely after a year into it because life changed.
Right.
Over the year. But I discovered, and it's something to work on, I have very few childhood memories before 9.
Oh.
So I was like, I remember everything after 9.
Yeah.
And so I'm struggling. There's this Africa chapter in my book because I grew up in Africa.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to fill this with something because I can't skip, I can't skip 1 through 9.
Right.
And I'm like, I really have nothing.
Yeah.
I just have these flashes. And so in the book, the chapter kind of addresses it and says, I don't know why, but I just have flashes. And here are 8 flashes from Africa.
Yeah, that's interesting. I try to do similar thing. It's 2 of my favorite memoirists are like Mary Carr and David Sedaris. And I feel like they do a good job of leading the reader through the experience of the memory, which is what you're describing.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes it's disingenuous to treat it like you have all the footage in your brain.
Yeah.
You remember the first day of kindergarten, you remember the last day of 10th grade. It's like, no, you don't.
And it's also, I think what you remember is strangely sensory. Like I remember in Lagos, Nigeria, we had a house, and then there was a 20-foot wall, and there was a guard at the gate. Because it wasn't safe. This is 1989, 1991.
Wow.
Right? And there's political turmoil in Lagos. And I remember there was a street nearby called Queen's Drive. Right? So when my parents would work, I'd sneak out and kind of get by the guard at the gate, like chuck my bicycle over the wall, right? Climb the wall and cycle out to Queen's Drive, which is where like the rich people lived.
Yeah.
And it overlooked this lagoon. And I'd get in the water sometimes.
Yeah.
And I remember it was about 3:30 p.m. I can tell you exactly what that golden light looked like on the water at 3:30 p.m. And I can tell you the smell of whatever that plant was that floats on the top of the lagoon.
Yeah.
I can't tell you much else. You know what I mean? Like that's all I know.
Totally.
So
that's a real quandary though when you're writing a book or a memoir of stand-up comedy. Like I have so many things like that where you remember something.
Yeah.
But it sure as hell isn't a story.
And I also think people want to feel spoken to even in a comics memoir. I don't feel like they want to be written at. And sometimes I'll read like a comedian's memoir and it's either very close to material and it feels like transcribed material.
Yeah.
Or it feels really like, let me show you how amazing I am as how great my vocabulary is. And I'm like, I really kind of want them to hear me in their head when they read this, as if it was this.
Was there anything where you were writing the book and you go, you're cringing at your own memory of something?
I mean, Mike, the whole book is cringe. You know what I mean? The whole book is, for some reason, I've seen the world more than anyone I know.
Yeah. India, Africa, America, London.
London. Yeah. 3 world tours. And for some reason, I've been let into more worlds than I expected. Like if it's rock music or Bollywood or here or anything. So I'm kind of like the loser at the party who's like, how the fuck am I here? And should I talk to people? And is this the right shirt? And I was like, I mean, we both have representation here. So you get the call saying, it's time. Right, because comedians write their first book kind of where we are. You know what I mean?
Right. It's time to write the book.
It's time to write the book, right? And I was like, I'll write it if you let me write it about failure and if you let me write it about confusion. And so that's the arc of the book. It's called The Outsider for that reason.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a broader feeling.
So you're going to India right now. You're flying to India this week, doing shows.
I have to tell you this. I don't know why, but so you are always my last stop in the US in terms of
last time I was too?
Last time I went to the airport from here, and this time I'm going to the airport from here. Right, and there's like a Bollywood song which goes like bar bar ha, intezar ha, right, and for some reason your name has enough vowels to be a Hindi phrase,
sure,
right? So I knew it was coming here. So for 72 hours, I've just been walking around going, Mike Birbiglia, Mike Birbiglia. I've done that 50 times for no reason over the last 3 days.
Mike Birbiglia.
Mike Birbiglia. That's your new... That's going to be every Indian comment.
You got to send me that song.
I will send you that song.
I'll play that on guitar. Mike Birbiglia, Mike Birbiglia. Yeah. So interesting. Can you say what the show is? Because you were just telling me.
So I'm doing 2 different live shows, right? And one is called The Sounds of India. And it's every sound that you'll hear from 3:45 in the morning, which is a bird called the koel, to 3:44 in the morning when you go back to bed.
Yeah.
And so it's everything from rickshaws passing by to politicians thumping their desks in parliament to school kids singing in assembly at 8 o'clock in the morning to the guy selling something outside your house to the evening news to the sound of a cricket bat. We have mosquitoes that come out at 5:30. 5:30 is mosquito time in India. And we have these rackets that you wave at a mosquito and you can murder them, and that has a particular, like when a mosquito pops in an electrified racket, there's a sound to it that every Indian knows. So it's kind of like stand-up meets tech a little bit, where it's It's very rapid fire and it's 80 sounds. So it's really bang, 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 bang onto something else. And I try to do the thing of here's what it is and here's how I feel about it. So at least it gives you some of me,
I love that.
you know?
It's an interesting way in.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes on this show we'll ask people what's a smell you remember from childhood, but like what's a sound is a good one. Any of the sensory things that honestly like you don't think about
Yeah.
are a great just entry point.
Yeah. And it's also, I was like, I want this to feel like a concert. I
Yeah.
really do. And so we went all out. Like we have my set is a tree.
Yeah.
And the tree just has cans. You know, remember like you had a can and I had a can and there was a string in between them.
Yeah.
And we'd hear each other.
Yeah.
So it's
like
just
a tomato can.
Like a tomato can.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
literally looks like steel cans. And they hang from this tree. And every time I play a sound, one of them lights up. Like it's come from somewhere in India.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And we give the audience wristbands
Yeah.
that have light in them.
Yeah.
And that vibrate. So when I play a sound, it kind of,
Oh my God.
vibrates through the room.
Beautiful.
So you feel immersed, right? So I wrote that, and then I just did a 2-week run at the Lincoln Center.
Oh, great.
At the Clare Tau, and that's a show called Hey Stranger, which is like
the book.
like the book. It's very much my story and like a one-man show kind of a thing. So it's a trip, kind of going from, because I just did 18 shows at the Lincoln Center, and like adjusting from that to now the concert
Oh, that's so hard.
is it's fun though.
It's fun, yeah.
But
yeah, I guess what I mean is holding 2 shows in your head at the same time is a little bit of overload probably.
well, I got to give you flowers, man. Like I remember coming and seeing you at the Vivian Beaumont.
Yeah.
And we hung out backstage for really, but I think that deeply had an impact on me.
Oh,
Where I
wow.
was like Old Man in the Pool was a fantastic show.
Oh, thanks.
And I kind of went away from that saying, would my story work in a room like this? Like if I sat down and authentically told my story. Because that really would be a litmus test if Indian comedy can translate over to just a random person who showed up at the Lincoln Center.
Yeah, of course.
For an off-Broadway show. And so I have a director for the first time, and I never worked with a director, a guy called Moritz. And so I just spent, 18 nights developing it with him.
Oh, that's great.
And I'd never been through that process, so I learned a lot.
What do you like most about telling stories?
I like that somehow it doesn't, this is foo-foo, but it doesn't live in you anymore. And then it goes into somebody else and it kind of becomes theirs. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
And strangely enough, it's kind of their version of the story and how they saw it. I'm fascinated by how different stories are perceived.
Yeah, because before you were a stand-up, you were like a Bollywood star.
Yeah. Star is middling at best.
Okay.
Like I want to manage expectations.
Sure.
I've been in 14 Bollywood movies, which is like 2 good movies or 3 good movies.
Okay, sure. Yeah. What was the worst movie you were ever in? Can you say?
Oh, yeah, sure. I was in a movie called Masti Zade, which was just like this cringy sex comedy.
Yeah.
Right? And it was very like, when was American Pie? It was like the early 2000s.
Sure.
Right? Yeah, but you don't do that shit in 2018 or 2015, right? So we were doing that.
Yes.
And just kind of regressive. And
Right.
the audience is like, he's doing this for the cash. And
Oh, interesting.
and I think the thing with stand-ups is we have the curse of authenticity. We don't get to be inauthentic. Because
100% true.
because the audience would be like, you wouldn't watch this shit. Why would I pay to watch this shit?
Yep.
I've seen your stand-up.
Yep.
So very much, I think that's what happened with that. And it was a massive movie. Like, did well, but,
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny, like, you and I have this thing in common. You talk about it in your book, which is like, we feel like your book is called Outsider. But you've always felt like an outsider, but at the Comedy Cellar, you do feel like it's a bit of a family. I have the exact same thing.
Same.
I've always felt like an outsider. There's something about, what is it about that place? Tell me what you think it is.
I think it's because it's Esty and Liz for sure, but I do think it's that they won't talk to management and that they don't post the lineup and that the only way to get in there is through other comedians.
Oh, interesting.
I think the entry...
right. In other words, they don't talk to your agent or your manager or anyone in show business.
And they don't care how famous you are. They don't care how many Netflix specials you've had. They don't care about any of that.
That's a really good point.
Do two Cellar comics think you're funny?
Yeah.
And then you're in. Like, I auditioned at the Cellar after 3 Netflix specials.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was happy too, but that's kind of nice.
It's interesting too because they really love international comics too.
They do?
And I think part of it is that the shows have an international audience.
It's very diverse, the people coming in.
It's the Comedy Cellar, and this happened in the 20 years I've been there, 25 years I've been there. It went from being a great comedy club to being like an international New York City destination.
Yeah, it's a tourist spot in that sense as well. Like you want to go see the Cellar.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. Are you comfortable bombing at the Cellar yet? Like with new shit?
Nope.
Same. I want to get up and I want to kill. You know, and there's other rooms that I'll be okay kind of being like, what's next? What is this?
I will do new jokes, but it will only be in the middle of my set.
Interesting.
Which is to say, I open with something that works. I close with something that works. And then in the middle, I'll try out, like one of these cards on the walls, like a few things. But I find that when you try out new stuff, there's an energy to it that surges the whole set. So even if the bit isn't even that strong, it feels spontaneous.
Do you call out that you're trying new stuff? Or
Usually I do. Usually like I'll hold up cards.
Yeah, same.
Which is a trick I got from Jimmy Carr.
Yeah. With me, it's less easy because they don't know who I am.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? At the Cellar.
Sure.
Right. So if like a famous guy walks up and he's like, all right, here's my good stuff and here's my new stuff. They're like, oh my God, we're going to see this guy we know's new stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if like a random Indian dude walks up and he's like, here's my new stuff, guys. They're like, yo, you are new stuff.
You are new stuff.
Like, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
totally.
So I get less leeway with that.
It's also, I think there's something to be said, and I don't know how this carries over into other fields. I don't want this to be such a closed off inside comedy conversation, but it's like there's something about being around other comics where there's something calming about it.
Yeah.
I can't even put my finger on it.
If I had to guess, it's one of 3 things that at any given point, your life experience probably isn't the shittiest at the table.
Yeah, true.
Like whatever shitty gig you just got off of, someone had a worse road story than you did.
That's right.
This week at that table of 5 people.
Yeah. 100% true.
It's probably
I think that's one of the things.
I think we're lonely people. I think comedians are
We're lonely people. Number 2,
inherently lonely
people.
people. So we're just kind of it's interaction.
Why do you think that's true? Why do you think comics are lonely people?
Well, because we spend so much of our life alone, and if we're not fully present in a situation, we are kind of sponging a situation so that we can write about it.
Yeah,
But I like being with comics because it's interaction without social graces. You know what I mean? Like
yes, agreed.
A 45-second silence is fine.
Yeah.
There's a comedian at the Cellar called Nimesh Patel.
Yeah,
and
great comic.
Great comic, right? And I was at the Improv in LA, and he's like, let's go hang out. And we went and hung out and didn't really talk at all.
That's great.
We just got some vodka and some beer and just ate nachos and really didn't talk for 55 minutes. And then we're like, this was great, let's do it again.
At one point in your book, you said that your wife wanted a divorce at one point, and then the pandemic happened, and then your dog died, and you had a bunch of things that were really challenging.
Yeah.
And you found yourself back together. But now that your dog has died and the pandemic is over, what do you think brought you back together in a way that feels enduring?
I think the context to it is I signed this American TV show called Whiskey Cavalier in Prague, right? And it was, I was just living in Prague for 6 months. Now, there's two parts to that. A, your wife is lonely, your dog is sick. You don't want to move your family to Prague because you don't know if this thing is going to go. Prague is great for 4 days if you like chimney cake and, and then it's done.
Sure.
But it's minus whatever 900 degrees.
They're filming a lot of stuff right there,
right? It's great, right? So I didn't know if it was going to go. So we were doing the long distance, and it's that weird fifth, sixth year of the marriage. You kind of start.
Famous era, 7-year edge.
Yeah, right. So you're in that. Dog got really sick, and then the pandemic happened. I'd come back, and we found ourselves moving to this little town called Goa, outside of Mumbai, and suddenly we had like fresh air. We had a garden, and we had a dog that we both clearly knew was going to go, and he had a year left, a year and a half at max, right? So now you are carrying him everywhere. You're nebulizing him 4 times a day. You're doing the thing. And it's forcing you to be kind. And so you're in a house where you're talking a little bit gently. And your achievements that you measure each other by are, he ate today. He did a good job. I'll take the night shift. You're just cooperating all of a sudden, but your tone softens. Everything, your approach softens. And I really think he brought us back together. Like that was his final symphony,
That's really pretty.
I wasn't around for his passing. And I think that's something I carry. I was told that he went around the house looking for me.
Oh, God.
As he passed, right? So I'm strangely not looking forward to death, but not afraid of death.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'll see him first. And I owe him an apology, when that happens. But, I mean, we went through that too. Where she had to deal with that. I was locked down on a Judd Apatow movie in London, and you couldn't leave. It was that 2-week quarantine.
Right.
And
I remember that, the bubble.
The bubble, right? And so I would have flown from anywhere in the world to be there for that. But I had to watch it on a FaceTime call. I would not wish that on anybody. My worst enemy in the world, I would not wish that on. But it forced her to be so compassionate with me in that, and me to be so compassionate with her. And then you kind of come out of that going, look at what we went through. Like, this is insane, and you're amazing. And thank you.
Yeah, I had that with years ago. Our cat Mazzy died, and she was sick for months and months, and then I had to go for a gig, and it was like the final days. It was devastating.
Yeah, it is. But weirdly, there's this dog who lived out on the street, right? And the street called him Stupid. Right? And that was just his name. His name was Stupid.
Oh, his name was Stupid.
And a week later, he wandered into our house.
Yeah.
He was sitting at the door.
Yeah.
In the garden. And he'd always be at the gate, kind of looking, almost in like a, is he dead yet? Kind of a thing. But one day he never left the house. And then 3 weeks later, he brought a friend. And this is this dog called Lucy, who was abandoned during the pandemic by a family that lived, they went home. I think they were in Europe, and they just kind of fled during lockdown. And they kind of left her in that house. So she'd been on the street. And she came in, and the second she figured out she was safe, she slept for 4 days.
Oh, wow.
And we moved out of Goa, after 4 years. They're both our dogs now. So they both moved to Mumbai with us. So the journey of watching 2 street dogs become home dogs is just a gigantic privilege.
Stupid and Lucy.
Stupid and Lucy. It's been great. They didn't know what a bed was. Stupids never had a bed. First toy, first dog park, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been nice.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
You talk about writing in your journal, but you can't read.
I can't read a word.
This is crazy. You have to talk me through this. You can't read your own journal.
I can't read my own journal.
Can you explain this?
It's some would call it journaling. I call it regurgitation. I'm just vomiting in the morning. That's literally it. I can't read a word.
It's funny because I recommend an equivalent to this to people all the time, which is, write something.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of writing something great is writing something.
Yeah.
That's probably bad.
Yeah.
But in your case,
it's all bad.
and it's not even really something you're going to read.
It's not even writing, Mike. If you think about it.
Does it exist still? Is it so you have the notebooks?
Yeah, and I've hundreds of notebooks.
Wow.
But it is literally to say I woke up with this in me.
Right.
And now it's not. And then if I know it's going to be something, like if I know it's going to be, stand-up, etc., I'll type it out. But...
Right. It's almost like you're writing it as an exercise. And then if you feel like, oh, this is something. What I do with my notebook is I write my journal. I know it's junk. I assume it's junk. And then if something all of a sudden feels like that's something, I just circle it, I put a star, and then I kind of write it in something else.
Yeah.
That's a good practice, I think. You do it every day?
Every single day. So my flow state is like 7 a.m., 6:30, 7 a.m.
Wow.
And so I need to, I dream pretty cinematically and pretty vividly. Mm-hmm. So I like to get up, not really talk to anyone, and go into a room and write. And give me 90 minutes to 2 hours, and I'll come out and we'll have breakfast and we'll do everything. But so my wife Shivani is great about that.
Yeah.
I literally wake up and go into a room.
No kidding.
And don't come out for 2 hours.
You were in your final chapter, you talk about making the proof of concept of your movie Happy Patel.
Yeah.
And that you initially were going to shoot it on an iPhone with no lighting or production, but your friend convinced you to actually produce it. Have you done sort of like iPhone type shoots before, or like low production value shoots? 'Cause I actually always recommend that to people.
For sure I have, but I kind of jumped a few steps.
Yeah.
I mean, you've directed like 2 movies, right? And it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, and I'm writing my next one right now.
All right, touch wood. But like I remember, it's the only thing that feels close to stand-up.
That's interesting. I think it's very similar to stand-up. I think films are very similar to stand-up.
In that, in stand-up, you get to infect every second of it with your madness and every part of it with your madness.
Yeah.
And only a director gets to do that on a film. Mm-hmm. Is costumes, lighting, shot. You infect everything with your madness, whatever's in your head. But for me, I directed 2 specials of mine. Mm-hmm. And I'd kind of been around on movie sets enough where I understood how to move a camera. I understood kind of what constituted good framing, etc. And my specials ended up looking a little more cinematic than, other specials that were around at the time. And so I was like, okay, let me try doing a short film. I made a short film, never put it out, but just kind of did it for myself. And then my producer on this movie is a guy called Amir Khan, who's a Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt level star. Mm-hmm. And in India, we do something called a narration. It's a great thing where if I want you, Mike, to produce my movie, I will come and perform the movie for you in your living room.
This is in the book. It's a fascinating idea.
So it's a single man table read.
Yeah.
Where I will do every character and stage direction.
How long?
The whole movie. So it's 3 hours or whatever.
Wow.
With the lunch break or whatever.
The whole thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, my script was 101 pages. So that's 101 minutes.
Yeah.
Effectively. And that's how they read the script.
Did you grow up on Bollywood movies or American movies?
It's a mix because we were in Africa, right? So we got Bollywood cassettes.
Yeah.
And then laser discs and DVDs, etc., etc. But then in Africa, we got Botswana TV, which was Richard Pryor, Sanford and Sons,
Huh.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So it was literally kind of the brown experience and the black experience.
Right.
And that was kind of what I grew up on. My first exposure to stand-up is Pryor.
Oh, so like Live at the Sunset Strip and Live and all that. Wow, that's probably the best you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my in.
He's held up more than almost anybody.
Carlin, I think Carlin is still getting quoted by both sides. Like the left and the right are like, he's our guy.
Yeah, totally.
Which is nuts. But yeah. Because he was nobody's guy.
He's nobody's guy.
You know?
And the interesting thing about Carlin is that if you watch that documentary, did you see the documentary?
Judd's documentary? Yeah, it's really good.
One of the things I find really interesting about it in relation to the current conversation of like, you can't say anything anymore. It's like Carlin also couldn't say anything, except it was pre-internet.
Yeah.
So like they would get letters to every theater he was at going, this is offensive to Christians, this is offensive to Americans or whatever. And they just didn't cancel him. He didn't cancel his appearances.
I think with but I do think back then a comedian had more power to not take feedback and just kind of be like, here's my jokes, good night, next city.
Right.
And now you kind of have to honor your audience's voice, and the fact that it's as powerful as yours in some way, and maybe not take the note,
Right. But the notes are out there.
The notes are out there.
The notes are available.
Right. But
people have a lot of takes.
But appreciate that they have feedback and something to say.
Did you have any pushback on the recent Netflix special?
No, not so much.
Because there's nothing I could flag in it where I would be concerned, because you did previously. Oh, man, Last time you were on this podcast, we talked about that.
Yeah, that was
very controversial.
Yeah, I remember watching a clip of it back then, and I was like, I look kind of sad in that one. You try and be more cheerful on Mike's.
You had a whole thing where it was like, there was a lawsuit against you in India.
There's a lot of lawsuits.
I mean, that's wild.
Yeah, it was, but process is punishment. That's all I say is there were 14 police complaints and those didn't get honored into investigations, but I had to, there's legal fees,
right.
That come with that.
And also probably an extraordinary amount of anxiety and fear. And
eventually love. And eventually, to be honest, ticket sales. And eventually, it all kind of...
Controversy does lead to ticket sales.
One time.
One time. Yeah, exactly. I mean? You can't hit them over and over again.
I know a lot of comics who are like, what can I say next? You know what I mean? And, that's not currency, I don't think.
One of the things I really like about your special is I feel like you effectively use silence.
Yeah, I do.
And very few people do. Very few comics do. And did you have to learn that, or was that sort of your natural rhythm when you started?
I'm figuring it out. I'm still mid-craft, so I don't know.
Sure.
But I grew up with an old man, my grandfather. I lived with him when I was 12 years old. And so this is a guy who is a diplomat, received the Padma Shri, which is kind of like our Medal of Honor, Indian ambassador to Bhutan, a Buddhist leader. And so strangers in our house constantly waiting for his counsel to chant with him.
Oh, wow.
Right. And so that was my guy during puberty.
Right.
To go to for advice. So advice meant a story.
Yeah.
Right. And the most powerful thing I saw him do was access a story in memory rather than tell you a story.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, Baba, what do I do about this? He'd be like, there's one time, and then he'd go back and he'd remember.
Yeah.
And he'd be okay taking the time to remember.
Yeah.
And you just sat there.
Yeah.
Mouth open, captive, waiting for what was going to come out of his mouth next.
Yeah.
And till date, I've had that, which is stories are not told, they are remembered. And then they just come out of your mouth. And that's powerful storytelling.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm comfortable as long as I'm remembering something. or I'm accessing
Yes.
some sort of memory or emotion, I'll sit in a silence.
That's really interesting.
But I can't manipulate you with the silence, I don't think. I'm not there.
Yeah, it's interesting you should say that because I've recently been going back out on tour and I don't have an hour. And
Yeah.
so I'm telling stories from my specials through the years. And it's
Sure.
like 6 or 7 specials. And so it's a lot of things to choose from. And I do find that the exact thing you're saying is true, which is if it's good enough to remember, it's a good story.
Yeah.
But sometimes I look back at my old stuff and go, I just don't remember that thing. You know what I mean? And it's just that there's just not that much there.
And sometimes I think you're tempted to add funny to the story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where I'm like, at least on this Lincoln Center journey, I learned that, which is, yeah, if nothing funny happened for the last 28 seconds of that story, don't try and put something in there.
Yeah.
You know, just see what happens. Make sure there's a laugh around the corner. But if nothing funny happened towards the end of that story, just say how you felt about it.
I completely agree. Like I was listening to my old albums and I was like, if I were writing this now, I wouldn't have that 20 seconds or that 15 seconds because there's something about it that feels desperate.
Yeah.
Like that line feels desperate versus what's essential for the story.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm learning that. Like, what's essential for the story is another, just kind of, that's a journey as well.
Yeah,
You know
it
what I mean?
is.
Just to stay authentic to, okay, here's what happened, here's how I felt about it, and this is why it's funny.
What do you think, having just done a storytelling show, what do you think are the ingredients of a great story?
I think it has to be remembered. I think that's one. Let's
Yeah.
put that on the table. It has to have advanced you. And if it hasn't, I don't think it's worth telling.
That's a great way of thinking about it.
If you want the same, if you were the same at the end of the story as you were before the story, don't tell the goddamn story.
Yep.
So I think that's incredibly important. And if it didn't introduce you to another human being, and kind of who they were and how they feel, I don't think it's a valuable story either.
Yeah, I think like one of the things I've learned through the years is when you're telling personal stories on stage, you're the protagonist
Yeah.
of the movie.
Yeah.
And if you're imagining this being a movie, the protagonist better be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And have, like you're saying, have a journey and be different at the end of the story than they were at the beginning of the story.
But also what makes the protagonist interesting is who's listening to the protagonist in the story. So I would tell a lot of stories where I'm like, then I met this guy and then we did this thing, etc. But what makes it interesting is how this guy felt about me and my perception of that and the weird way he looked at me or this little wisdom he gave me. And so, like, to me, that's what makes the scene pop.
Yeah. And the thing I've learned through the years is the most important, everyone always says the most important thing is the beginning, middle, and end. I always say it's the end.
I don't have an end yet on this show. I'm still searching. I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did like 16 nights and like by, God was kind. By like night 8, I was getting a standing ovation, etc. So, it's starting to feel like
Right.
there was some emotional beat to the
Yes,
end.
something was happening.
Something was happening, right?
Maybe that was outside of yourself that you don't even fully get.
I don't know. And at least they were starting to get to their feet pretty quick or quicker every single night.
Yeah.
In my movie version in my head of this show, it ends with me looking at my wife going, did I ever tell you this one time? And the camera kind of tracks out of a window and goes to, a shot of trees, etc., etc. That's hard to do in a stand-up show.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The pull away
Yes.
shot down the street. But that's the beat I'm trying to
That's
search.
what you're trying to find.
I'm trying to find that.
Yeah, like the zoom out.
Yeah.
The zoom out of your story. This is what we call the slow round.
Right.
Who are you jealous of?
I'm jealous of any good musician. I really feel like if I could do that, man, I'd quit this whole thing. I'd quit the acting. I'd quit in a heartbeat if I was just good at that.
That's the cliche. Comedians want to be musicians. Musicians want to be comedians.
Yeah, but like I saw this reel today of this girl who's combining like Punjabi folk music with badass jazz, right? And new musician, whatever, 4 million views overnight, etc., etc. But she does this thing where she just kind of has like a growl in her voice, and she just kind of goes yeah, and just kind of does a little bop, and I was like, I will never know what it feels like to be just that cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just that out there.
Yeah.
I think musicians know who they are more than perhaps any other artist.
Yeah, that's a good one. What is the best piece of advice someone's given you that you used?
And this has always been a hard one because there's a lot of it. But I think someone said to me, you won't know when it's good. You'll only know when it's bad. So make sure to look around a lot.
Beautiful.
So that when it's good, if you've looked around, you just kind of have that memory. Like I was talking to an old friend of mine, a college friend. And I was like, I feel like I've done a lot. And I've just kind of left the next morning, you know. And she said, you know, she's like, you won't know when it's good. Nobody knows it's good when it's good. So just try and look around a lot, just on a daily basis, so that there's memories. Like I remember telling her I played Carnegie and I have very little recollection of what that was like. And I don't know if I'll do it again or if I'll get to do it again. But that was a big moment for somebody coming from India, right? And she was like, well, what do you remember seeing? Right? And I was like, I remember 3 things. One, they were like, you can't change the lighting and you can't change the stage. We are Carnegie Hall. I was like, great, respect. And they were like, we start on time. We are Carnegie Hall. And I was like, about that. I'm Indian. All right. And you probably won't start on time.
Okay.
This is just a cultural thing.
Okay.
And they were like, but we are Carnegie Hall. And I was like, yes, but again, humbly,
your fans might not show up on time.
I'm Indian, right?
Yeah.
And we had an 8 p.m. show. And then very sweetly at 8:01, they came into my room and they're like, we're going to wait 15 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure.
But my friend, she was like, what do you remember about that evening? And I said, I remember looking out into the room and knowing that this was 80% of these people, it was their first time in that room. And she's like, then that's your memory. So you don't remember what the green room looked like. You don't remember what the flyer looked like or the piano looked like, etc., etc. But you remember a feeling in the room, which is, shit, we're all in Carnegie Hall.
Yeah. You brought them there.
Or they showed up for me, but I may never come back to that room and they may never come back to that
They
room.
brought you, you brought them.
You know? And she was like, you need to look around in your life more.
Yeah.
Because that was a good moment.
Yeah.
And thank God you noticed that. But just look around.
Great advice. Do you have anything in your notebook?
I made a note
around?
of 2 things. One, which is, it's just life story stuff, but it's really, really early stuff.
Yeah.
But I have, I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, with a 20-foot wall and a guard at the gate with an AK-47, who's your only friend, right? But it's hard to know if it's a real friendship when there's an AK-47
That's great.
in the mix.
Yeah, sure.
And then I had childhood games change when you add an AK-47.
Yeah.
And so the 3 tags are, you ever played tag with an AK-47? It's really just a 1-round game.
Yeah, that's right. Jeez.
Hide and seek with an AK-47 is really just cry and hunt.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to do this thing where I'm like, do you play house party or like tea party?
Yeah, sure.
As kids, right?
Sure.
So I want to kind of do, what is tea party with an AK-47?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to build that and kind of go from there.
Yeah, that's a really fertile area. I mean, you might have to explain to people why there was a guard. I mean, like just the context of it. And it's one of those things where I think about that all the time, even at the airport when you go to certain countries and they have semi-automatic weapons and things, and you just go, what if you're late for your flight, you're sprinting, you know what I mean? You're sprinting there and you're misunderstood. And
I think about this more than you, Mike, I promise.
Totally. No, of course. And
I think I've said this to you before. Like when I fly, I have to dress like I'm buying the airline, man. Like I have to at immigration, I have to be decked out.
Yes. You need them to know
that I'm serious.
You're the kind of person who might have a correlation with the person who is their boss.
Yeah.
Or the boss of their boss of their boss.
So that's the bit I'm trying to work on. That's kind of childhood, gilded cage, AK-47.
What is the what's the line? Can you repeat the line, the hide and go seek one?
Hide and seek with an AK-47 is just cry and hunt.
Right. It could just be hide and go seek with AK-47 is hide. Maybe we shouldn't. We don't have to seek.
Yeah. Very nice.
There's no need.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it's like it's a great piece of imagery.
Yeah, it is.
For like any kind of like, I'm trying to think of different childhood games. Did you do tag?
We had tag, we had hide and seek, we had...
What were the other punchlines?
The tag was one, hide and seek, then I had...
And what was tag? Oh, just tag is scary.
It's just a one-round game.
One round, right.
Because you don't want to get tagged.
Right.
You could do like a rifle pointing at a Barbie doll.
Right.
And be like, which was his? just to clarify.
We don't need to haggle over this. Yeah, sure.
You could do that. You could do like...
Cops and robbers.
Cops and robbers, yeah.
Cops and robbers is just, cops. I'm not playing the robber. I refuse to play the robber. I don't even want to pretend.
I mean, hopscotch is, post-shooting. That's dark. But
yeah, it's dark. The whole thing is dark.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it is.
But it's great. I think it's a great joke. I was looking at my notebook today for things that we have in common because I think we're about the same age. I'm 47.
Yeah, I'm 46.
Yeah, I'm 47, and I finally feel my age. I feel like I've been 47 since I was about 15. And when I was in my 20s, everyone was like, "Are you 47?" Like, no, I'm 25. They'd be like, "Cool." Now I'm 47. It feels like I'm 47, but also 15. You have that?
Very
nice.
I
feel like I'm both.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I was never 25. Like I think I never was.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen.
I think the question will then be, what is a 15-year-old to you?
Right.
To expand on like that. Like I went to
right. What is age?
But also I went to a college yesterday to talk about the book.
Yeah.
They don't look like college kids like I remember them. They
They're
look young.
They're young. Yeah,
My God, they look like school children. But they're postgrads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what does a 15-year-old look like to you?
Right.
I think would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's good. And then I wrote when I was 10, people were like, "Do you have kids?" I was like, I think I am a kid. I was 4 feet tall and had acne. People thought I was starting a family. So then there's that. And then I also had my daughter walking to school and she goes, I don't feel 10. She's 10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel 10. I go, I don't feel 47. She goes, I don't even think of 47 as an age. I just think of it as a number I use in math class. Nice. Which is entirely true. I don't have a punchline for it. It's just a ridiculous conversation. A number I use in math class.
There's a callback there. If you do the whole bit and then your daughter's like, I feel 10, you'd be like, you should start a family.
Yeah, that's nice.
You can come back to it.
Yeah. You should start a family. That's good.
Yeah.
So the final thing we do is working out for our cause. Is there a nonprofit that you like to contribute to? What we will do is contribute to them and then link to them in the show notes.
They're called Yoda. And they again, it's for dogs again. So
great.
So they're a charity out of Goa, and they help stray animals. They're good people.
It's yoda.co.in. We will contribute to them. We will link to them in the show notes. They will be very surprised to receive a donation from me, I think.
They'll be like Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah. They're going to sing the song. Mike Birbiglia.
Hey man, I do want to say this on mic before I leave. Old Man in the Pool, when I saw it at the Vivian Beaumont, there's some pieces of art where you're like, I want to get to that level of craft. And so I'm very much trying to follow in your footsteps of craft. You're a big influence on me, and I appreciate you.
That means the world to me, Vera. You're continued success. You're doing amazing work. I hope people read your book, see your special, and see you on tour. You're doing amazing work.
Thank you, man.